Hey everyone, this is Casey with CReeves Makes. I just got a smart standing desk for my home office and I want to bring you along as I build it, but I'm also going to add some modifications to it, so stick around to see what I do. Overall, the desk went together extremely easily. The instructions and all of the components are very well laid out and built, so all of the hardware goes right in. There were no issues at all putting this together. It took me just under a half an hour to build the desk and have it basically upright and functional. I think I spent more time messing around with cables and trying to figure out a good cable management solution for it than I did actually building the desk itself. The desk goes from 29.5 inches to 48 inches tall, which easily covers where my office chair is to a comfortable standing height. So I'm not worried at all about the desk not fitting my needs in that area. I decided that I wanted to make a larger desktop surface for it. So starting with 2 pieces of plywood, one being a Pure Bond 3/4 inch thick maple for the top section, and then just a basic 1/2 inch thick maple for the bottom. And I laminated those two together and left them in clamps under weight for a day. But then for the edges, I didn't want to have exposed ply, so I chose to take some solid walnut pieces and cut them or rip them at 3/4 of an inch, and then miter cut them and put them in place on the edges of the plywood. You'll see me use several clamps for this glue up, and some of you might think that this is definitely overkill for putting on edge capping, but what I didn't want to do was use brad nails to hold the front edge on. I know that I could fill the holes and hide it, but I wanted to see if a basic laminated glue joint would be sufficient with several clamps. So I tried it and it actually turned out really nice. After the glue had dried and I removed the clamps, I used a 1/4 inch round over on all of the edges to ease the edge of the desk and make it much more user friendly, if you will. For finish on this desk, I chose to go with Rubio Monocoat in the pure form, so it's the Oil 2C version. And basically the way I do it is I trowel it all on with the card scraper, and then I have a modified Ryobi buffer that I glued a random orbit sanding Velcro pad to, and I stick on a white scuff pad, so like the Scotch-Brite white scour pads, to spread around and buff in the Rubio. So after 2 coats of that, the desktop was ready to go on. And of course it was just easy to pull the existing black top off and put on the new one. After lining everything up, I screwed it in place and it was ready to go. You can see here that the desk raises itself. It has a memory feature, so there are 4 buttons on the side that you can preset to setting heights. And so I have 1 for my sitting position and memory 2 for my standing position. And then if my wife or kids want to use the desk, I can also program in some heights for them. Again, after working at the desk for a little bit, I decided that I really wanted some storage underneath of the desk. Using some cut-off scraps from a previous project, I slapped together some panels, and you'll see the walnut strip that's in the middle of these panels. It's because the panels were not large enough to make a single panel for the side of the taller cabinet. And the walnut was actually left over from making all of the edge caps for the top, so I knew it was going to match. The tall cabinet would basically be 2 storage drawers and a file drawer at the bottom, and the shorter cabinet that I'm making is going to also double as a printer stand so that my printer could still live under the desk. And both of these cabinets will be independent of the desk itself, so I could still raise the desk and not affect anything with the cabinets. For drawer slides in the cabinets, I chose to use Bloom drawer slides because they have quickly become my favorite go-to. They are very easy to lay out and use. After basically I made an Excel spreadsheet that allows me to quickly calculate my drawer sizes based on the drawer opening and the depth that I have. So I could quickly make drawers for these slides, and everything goes together really, really nice. So for a little bit more money, I'm definitely happy to go with the Bloom slides. What these are plastic strips that fit over the 1/2-inch plywood that I use for the drawer boxes, and they act as the file hangers. So if you make your drawer accurately, the file hangers will fit perfectly onto those slides that you snap in place. I'll have a link for those in the description down below. I didn't want to use basic drawer pulls, so again, from a chunk of walnut left over from the edge capping, I threw it on the lathe and turned 4 knobs that are very, very, very similar to each other. I tried a copy method of basically just making lines and shaping to form by freehand. So I didn't use any special tools or anything to try to match these perfectly. But after they're on the drawers, you're never going to see them all standing next to each other again. So the tiny little differences between them are going to be irrelevant once they're mounted in place. And again, I just use Rubio to kind of rub on and let sit, and applied a couple coats for those. All that was left now was to do a final buff on all of the panels and pieces, just to make sure it was nice and smooth and all the little dust fuzzies were taken off, and then put them in place. I started out with the tall cabinet on the right and the short cabinet on the left, but I quickly switched it to the printer being on the right. That way it's a little bit more accessible for people that are printing from the Wi-Fi and coming downstairs to grab something. If I'm sitting at my desk, they don't have to work around me and my chair to get to the printer. So now it's a little bit easier to get to. Overall, I'm really happy with the new desk. I had an old L desk in this place that was never really conducive to my workflow, and it was always catching clutter and just not really what I wanted for this spot. So having this new desk here with the option to sit or stand at it, plus having a nice large format desktop, just makes the whole area feel that much more productive. Again, having everything independent of the desktop, so it's modular and on the floor, really makes it a nice usable space that I can tune in the future if I need to, and I'm really happy with the results. I'd like to thank Autonomous for sponsoring this video and for supplying me with this desk. I was really enjoying the challenge of making my own top for it, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, and looking forward to spending a lot of hours here getting some work done. If you like this video, please click subscribe and stay tuned for more. I'm always working on new projects and bringing new things into this channel, so please let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in the future, or if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I'm Casey with CReeves Makes, and thanks for watching.